Hi guys, good morning. And this is Vidisha Vitlani, and I welcome you to this live. Thank you for being here with me on what morning? Saturday morning. All of us have forgotten what days it is. I haven't. I remembered it's a Saturday, and that's how I remembered that you guys would be joining me. And I actually look forward, to this Saturday so that I can come live and speak on different topics. And you guys have also been kind enough to be there with me every single Saturday, despite, the pandemic, despite whatever is going on. I hope you guys are safe. I hope you guys are home, and I hope you guys are doing your bit to actually control this pandemic and to, focus on it. Any which ways, what I want you to do today is join and interact with me in this live session, because I'm going to take the speaking component, and in the speaking component I'm going to first take you through the basics, then I will be step by step taking the cue cards, and then we'll go for the counter questions. Any which ways, the thing that really matters is your participation here, because obviously it's a speaking. Explaining things would be more and more redundant to you, and for those of you who are here much, and it really feels great to see you guys. Cool, so let's begin with the speaking components. What is the best thing about speaking components? I believe the time. See, each of this is going to have 9 bands, right? So listening has 9 bands, reading has 9 bands, your writing has 9 bands, speaking has 9 bands. But just think about it. In your speaking 9 bands, you get it with 12 to 20 minutes with least preparation. All you have to prepare is try to speak in English. If you're able to speak in English, you're definitely going to get your marks. So it's that easy. Another best thing that I like about speaking is if your natural conversation is good, you're most of the time sorted. It doesn't, require a lot of effort. It doesn't really require a lot of pre-preparation like reading does or writing does. Secondly, there's no like specific format that you're supposed to follow or rules that you're supposed to follow. So that is the component. You will be having a one-to-one interview with an examiner that's going to last for around 12 to 20 minutes. After these 12 to 20 minutes are over, what you're supposed to do is nothing. You just have to wait for your scores. That's it. Okay, so how does the interview begin? I'll tell you the actual scenario. I've faced it and I can tell you. So you enter into that chamber and the examiner will, either nod, either wish you a good morning. If he doesn't, you can. And then the examiner will ask you to be seated. That point of time, be seated. Right. Once that scenario is over, the examiner first will ask you questions about yourself. Like, what do you do? Where you come from? What is your name? Things do you want to live in? The basic 4 or 5 questions about yourself. Now, most of the students, what they do is if somebody asks you, what do you do? How do you answer? You don't, sorry, if somebody asking you, what is your name? How do you answer? Don't just say Vidisha Vitlani. Say the whole thing. My name is Vidisha. You're getting me. What do you do? You can't say, I train students for IELTS and GRE and I work with the Aussies group. So the whole sentence is something that is really mandatory. You cannot have sentences that are very small. Okay. Now, once this introduction bit is over, what is basically asked is your um, questions about yourself. So, examiner is going to pick one topic, okay, and then the examiner will ask you questions pertaining to that topic. Okay, so let's just say the examiner is picking up the topic park. So the examiner will ask you, do you like visiting the park? Do you like to go to the park? What kind of parks are there in your city? What improvements should be there in the park? Why do you think parks should be developed? Why do you think parks should not be developed? So basically, any random questions about the park, but again, this is asking your opinion. How are you supposed to answer these questions? Firstly, as I said, so a lot of students have this query and keep on asking me whether the answer should be short or long. Hi, Prashant, if that's your name, if I spelled it correctly. pronounced it correctly. Right. So a lot of students actually asked me that how do you actually spell this thing out? How do you actually say this? Basically, does it have to be long? Does it have to be short? One thing, you don't have to worry about the length. You do not worry about the length. You worry about only one thing, that is elaboration. You elaborate it. You make sure you have a proper length to it. You complete it properly. Okay, so that is something that you're supposed to do. Another important thing that you're supposed to do is give the answer in a paraphrased version. Now, this is only when you want to score above a 7. This is a tip. This is, I think, my secret ingredient in my speaking, and it worked well. So, I think this is going to work well with you also. So, what really you have to do is you can actually go for the paraphrase version. For example, if somebody is asking you, do you like reading books? I'm not going to say, yes, I like reading books. What am I going to say? I'm going to say something like, undoubtedly, I am extremely fond of books because they keep me stress free, and at the same time, I really connect to them compared to other things. So, what I did here was I paraphrased the question. I did not repeat the question as it is. Do you guys want me to answer a few introduction questions for you? Post those questions in the comment box and I will definitely answer them for you. Is there any other doubt in the introduction set of questions? I would definitely go through them with you. Start posting your questions in the comment box if you really have some introduction questions that you want me to answer. Meanwhile, I'm going to take the section of books and answer a few samples for you so that you know what the exact complete answer is. Okay, so first question I asked, do you like books? The examiner. Then the next question the examiner is asking me, what kind of books do you like? Honestly speaking, when it comes to me, I would read anything that is on the shelf, which is more interesting. Basically, I like romance and a little bit of suspense. I'm also very, inclined towards philosophy. So, did you see that the choice of words that I used were very basic, inclined towards, fondness towards, or, anything that's on the shelf. But those words are the words that only a person which has a very good command over English would say it. I don't think like in normal English we don't use such fancied up words. So when it comes to vocab of ideas, that's what I believe in speaking. You have to polish it. Words can remain the same. I cannot remember 10 words and in front of the examiner speak those 10 words which are very heavy, which are very difficult. It's not really possible. Okay, so what I do is I come up with such words and I put such words which really function, which really can be manipulated. That really works. Guys, post your questions. I'll run out of questions then. I need your help. Come on, guys, post your questions. Post questions that you want me to answer. Even the ones that you already know the answers to, post it. I will surely love to answer. I'm bored of asking myself questions. Okay, so my first question was, do you like books? The second was, what kind of books do you like? The third question was, are those books what kind of books are popular in my country? Okay, my country is really densely populated and there are different types of people liking different books, so I think any book is much popular. However, as an observed trend, I could tell that it is the romance and the drama that is really popular. So these kind of books are popular in my country. Okay, now coming on to the fourth question. Okay, which books? There are three persons watching now. Yeah, so what happened? Aren't you three interested in asking questions? Right, let's go ahead with more number of questions. The fourth question is, what type of books do children prefer to read? According to my perception, children don't really like reading books. They find it very boring. However, when it comes to forced reading, I think they would probably like books that are comics or books that have, a lot of pictures so that they can read it. Also, few storybooks. Like as a child, I used to love reading storybooks and fairy tales, basically like Hansel and Gretel and Cinderella. So I think children might like reading these books. Okay, so again, introduction questions. I'll just repeat the drill for you. What are introduction questions? Introduction questions are basically the first set of questions. It's a warm up for you, technically, for you to speak in front of the examiner, right? The second, the thing that's really, really important in this introduction set of questions is that you actually answer completely. The length of the answer is not going to matter no matter what, okay? And then another thing that you really have to work on if you feel that you want to get a band which is above 7 is that you make sure that you're going through you're paraphrasing, you're going through the paraphrasing version a lot, and that would really really enhance it. Another thing is when you speak, try to diversify your language, try to polish your language. Once you're using this polished language, I'm very sure that the words that you speak, the language that you speak is going to be really really proper. Okay, moving on to the next section. After the introduction set is over, the examiner would give you a question, would give you a chit. In that chit, there's going to be one topic, and you have to speak on that topic for 2 minutes. So basically, it is a cue card. Okay, this section is called as a cue card. It's like an impromptu topic that you're supposed to speak on. So again, those who want any cue cards for me to speak, please start posting in the comments. You feel that any question of yours is unanswered, post in the comments. If you're watching this later on YouTube or later on Facebook, post in the comments. I will answer it for you. Okay, moving on. So the cue card. What is a cue card? So basically, one topic is going to be given to you. You will have 1 minute to prepare for it. Okay, and you have to speak on that topic for exactly 2 minutes. That is something that you're supposed to do. Now, how do I speak? Here is the challenge for most of the people to speak for 2 minutes. Speaking for 2 minutes is really, really a task. It is not that simple. And stretching a topic without repeating the content, stretching a topic without, really fumbling or having new things is a task. So, how do you do this? I have had three strategies which I always use. One's first strategy is micro planning. Micro planning is your flow chart. Let's say a topic is given to you, a film that you would like to share with your friends. So let's say this film is given to me, and what I do is I prepare a flow chart. I prepare, a sequence like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the points that I'm going to include. Also, a topic is going to have three sub points. You have to make sure that you include all these three sub points while speaking. That is something that is really, really important. So, the topic, the three sub points, and the first strategy is a flowchart. In my mind, first thing what I'm going to do is prepare the topic, decide on a topic. Now, see, a film that I'm going to share. So, my favorite film might be a different one. Like, let's say I hardly watch films, I can't even connect with this. But yeah, let's say my favorite film is a very different one. But it is possible that I can't speak on it for 2 minutes. That is also a possibility. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up a topic. I'm going to pick up a film that I can speak on for 2 minutes, because that is something that's really important. The main crux here is speaking on it for 2 minutes, right? I'm going to pick up a topic where I can speak on that same topic for 2 minutes. Then add as many. The second theory, the second strategy is micro detailing. Add many small details as I can. Okay. The third is making content by answering to WH questions: which, when, where, who, how, with whom, why. Then you can add as many questions as you can. When you're adding these questions, you create a content that is very rich. At that time, it is going to be really, really easy for you. And that will ultimately help you do better, right? So, these are my three theories. Your first is micro planning, your second is micro detailing, the third is making answers to WH questions, the 3M theory, that's I call. Again, one more thing that's really, really important while you speak your cue card is You remember that you are the center of your cue card. You are connected to your cue card. So, for example, a film that you share, I don't want to know a lot of information about the film. I don't want to know, like, I want, I'll give you a sample by actually working on it, so you will come to know what I'm trying to tell you. But this is something that you really, really have to take care. Another thing, you actually the recently asked cue cards, you make sure that you prepare for those cue cards. But actually, what I really intend for you is that however well prepared you are, you make sure that you jot down the points. Another thing that you have to really, really make sure is that when you're speaking to the examiner, you don't show the examiner that you've mucked it up. You don't show the examiner that you've learnt it all by heart. And when you speak, you have, spoken to it in a very elegant way and with a lot of intonation. What does intonation mean here? Intonation technically means that when your pitching is proper, when you're not like extreme high, extreme low, you're not going in a very monotonous way, you're not going to. When you're talking to somebody, you're talking to somebody, so there are hand gestures, there is body language, there is that, there are stresses on some points, there are not stresses on some points. So, this is something that's really, really important. Okay, so we're going to go for it and let's take the same topic I asked you. In case, again, if there is any topic that you really want me to answer, please post it in the comment box. I will surely answer it for you. Right. So the topic was describe a movie that you want to share with your friends. So in this case, I'm going to go with the three sub questions. Which movie is it? Why did you like it? Why do you want to share it with your friends? And when did you see it? So I have these four sub questions. I'm going to take a minute to think what movie, since I don't know. I hardly watch movies, and I'm going to speak on it, and then we'll discuss that what elements did I cover while speaking on it. Okay, so let's go for this one. Okay, I'm starting. The movie that I want to share with my friends is The Social Network. Basically, I like this because I am an addictive Facebook. When it comes to movies, I rarely watch movies. I don't like movies because it's just too difficult for me to sit in one place and watch something for 3 hours unless and until it's really meaningful. This movie is actually more like a documentary come fun movie, and it actually denotes the life. It's like a real life, I think, story of Mark Zuckerberg. It also has my favorite actor Justin Timberlake, who does not play Mark Zuckerberg, by the way, but he's there in the movie and he is really good. So the reason why I would like this movie is because of its direction. It is beautiful, like about the past, about the future, and the story revolves around how Mark Zuckerberg and his friends started making this together. Later, there was a case, they were in a brawl, and a case was filed on them. So there was too much of drama. At the same time, it shows how they actually created the coding and all, which was really fun. And it also shows how Mark Zuckerberg and had a life of his own, which is very different from what we really know. In fact, I did not know about it at all. So that's what makes it different. Also, it's not like a routine rom com or a routine drama or a routine suspense. Something like way out of the league and way different. And that's what made me watch it in the first place. So actually, I did not watch it in the theaters, but one night I was really bored and I had nothing to do. And on a portal, I came across this called the social media, and that really intrigued me. So because it intrigued me, I started to watch it because it was hardly for 2 hours. It's like a 2 hour movie, and later I started developing interest towards it. So I really liked it. Also, I'd like to watch my make it watch to my friends, and I would want my friends to see it. Is the reason is because it's very interesting, and all of us are social media addicts, and because we're social media addicts, we would connect to it more. And we always end up watching something that is romantic or something that has drama or something that is very common, but this is very, very different. So I'm very sure my friends would also like it because they're also more like me. They would like something so knowledgeable. In fact, there are few scenes that are my favorite and which I would really would tell them that do watch it. It was really good. So this, according to me, is the thing that I would want my, want to share it with my friends. So now, if you realize, I actually ended up speaking for 2 minutes. At the same time, I covered all the 3 points. At the same time, I added minor details. Now, did you see what I did? The first thing I did was set the name of the movie. After saying the name of the movie, I created a background, like a background that I don't like movies, that's why I'm not watching it. Something like that. Later, what I did was I created a scene where each and everything was elaborated. Justin Timberlake, my favorite actor. I don't like drama. This is something different. I am a social media addict. So, I keep on adding things that are different. Hi, Jatin. So yeah, anything that you feel you would want to, add according to you, you can add. But however, I believe it has to be very, very relevant. It has to be, very polished. At the same time, it has to make sense and fit in there with coherently. And that's what would give you like a lot of marks. So that is about the cue card. Moving on to the next set, that is the counter questions. After your cue card is over, the counter questions come, and that here is what I believe is the most tricky. See, because somewhere on the line, introduction set of questions are a warm up, and they're asking questions about you. Cue card, you're more or less prepared. You know you have to speak on 2 minutes. Hi, Gaganpreet. So cue card, you're more or less prepared that you will have to speak for 2 minutes. Your counter question is something that you're not very prepared for, and the examiner will change it as you answer. This is the most tricky part. Again, introduction questions, if you don't elaborate it a lot, it's going to be okay. But the counter questions, I want you to elaborate it a little. So the cue card was movie. What kind of questions can come on this? What kind of movies are popular in your country? What kind of movies are popular internationally? Should censor board, allow certain movies? What kind of movies children should watch? Do you like watching movies in theaters or homes? People like to watch. So, with whatever question you've been asked, you have to answer the question why. Again, the rules of answering the counter question remain the same as introduction. Why do you like watching this? You have to elaborate it properly. You have to make sure that the length of the answer is proper. You paraphrase it. So all that exactly remains the same. That's not going to change no matter what. Okay. So I'll answer few counter questions for you. Meanwhile, you guys think of questions. If you have any, and post it. I will answer those questions for you. Anything that you want to know about IELTS, anything that you want me to answer questions on speaking, anything that really, makes sense to you. Go ahead. So I'm going to answer questions here. So let's say the first question is, what kind of movies are popular in my country? The movies that really become famous in my country are ones that have a lot of drama, and also the ones that have superstars in it, because I think the mass goes to watch such movies. What kind of movies are popular internationally? I think internationally also the same type of movies are popular. However, I have noticed that the international crowd is much more story oriented. Few countries, and they have a lot of focus on documentaries, which I really like sometimes. Is watching movies at home better or theaters better? Watching movies in a theater is always a better, because it is an experience that one can feel. Like there's a big screen, there's no disturbance, it's just the movie and you, of course, the friends. And the whole vibe of a theater is different. However, I like it at home also, because I believe that not all movies is possible to go and watch it in the theater. It doesn't really. Okay, what is the future of the cinema? I think on the future of the cinema is in a dilemma. People would now not want to go to theaters to watch movies, and at the same would be launched understanding the people's mind state. So the questions can go on and on and on and on depending on this. So I'll tell you something. When I gave my speaking exam, I had like an experience. So my experience was so that I was asked questions. My cue card topic was describe something that your family gifted to you. I spoke about a car, and on the counter questions, I started like she started asking me questions on that. I ended up when I finished my test. I was speaking on spirituality. I don't know how I landed there, but that is exactly what happened. And trust me, it was a great experience. It was such a great experience. Hi, Shruti, man. Okay, so let's go ahead. We'll now once your speaking session is over, I would explain you the band descriptors. Your band descriptors are basically how are you judged. So first thing beginning at the session, I told you that a very important task for you is to maintain a natural conversation, is to maintain a conversation and the flow and eye contact, your intonations, everything has to be there. So for eye contact, a lot of students have also asked me that in case we have the cue card and we have the paper, how would we be able to maintain eye contact? So you can occasionally glance any which ways. You have only 1 minute to prepare, so you would not be able to read the whole thing. You will just have to glance through it, maintain eye contact. It's very simple. Yeah, and while maintaining eye contact, behave. Don't just stare into the examiner and scare the person off. Don't do that. Have a very natural thing, as if you're talking to. Basically, it's a formal one-to-one interview, very similar to those of your job, or very similar to those of your college interviews. So it's going to be very easy for you, right? So let's begin how you judge. The first is fluency and coherence. Now, see, when it comes to fluency, a lot of people have this misconception that if you speak really fast, it's going to work. Or if you're very hesitant, it's not going to work. See, fluency is when you don't have to pause and think for words. That is fluency. Like, I'm not doing a lot of while speaking. That is fluency. Okay. Now, when it comes to hesitant, one thing, you can be hesitant for ideas. Like, let's say I'm speaking, I can pause for some time and think of a new subject to talk on. But amidst a sentence, if I stop and pause for words, that shows what? That simply shows that I don't have enough vocabulary. So again, that's going to create a negative impression. Coherence is your layout. Coherence is a structure, is a synchronization. How well do you speak? Now, where does this come into action? This simply comes into action when you're going for your cue card. So for coherence, what are we doing? So for coherence, we're preparing that flow chart where I told you while preparing the cue card. When I'm preparing the flow chart, what happens is I exactly know what I'm going to speak afterward. Right? So that is your fluency and that is your coherence. So fluency and your coherence is your first band descriptor. Your second band descriptor is your lexical resource. In the beginning, lexical resource is vocabulary. However, vocabulary is correct vocab used at the correct place, correct word at the correct place. That is your vocab. Another thing I told you, you don't need more fancy words in the beginning. What you need is a more polished language. What you need is a language that is, what you need is very words that go in a particular flow. Also, for your speaking session, you can use idioms that will really help you. And what I do is I remember like 2-3 idioms and I just use them. So when it comes to my vocab, I have a list of words that I really use very often. They are into my diction, they're into my words, and that's how it comes naturally. The third is your grammatical range and accuracy. Grammatical range and accuracy, obviously, while speaking, I cannot mentally think that, okay, I'm going to go for a complex sentence and speak a complex sentence. What I like you to do is not be very monotonous. That is what I want you to do. Don't make sentences that, sound alike. That is the first thing that you can do. Another thing that I've really observed, which is a very good thing, is when students write, they tend to make a lot of grammatical mistakes. But when they speak, they don't tend to make so many grammatical mistakes, which is a very good thing, which is a really nice thing. So when you are speaking, when you're doing this, don't worry a lot about grammar. Get your fundamental grammar rules right, and then you're good to go. The fourth is pronunciation. Do not fake an accent. That is the worst. Do not fake an accent. Please don't do that. Pronunciation, each word has to be pronounced the way it is. However, your accent may vary. Wherever you come from, whatever region you come from, your accent is going to be different. So that is okay. But pronunciation is going to be good. Now, when I'm speaking, the examiner is going to be like, okay, fluency, I've got so many, she's good, she's fluent. Let me give her a 7. Words, I don't think she has enough words. Let me give her a 6. Grammar is good, 7. And let's go for pronunciation, it's good. Let's go 8. So your average is to be considered 7, 6, 6, 7, 6, 7, 8. Divide by 4. That's how you've given your marks in your speaking component. So this session from start to end for speaking component. And how to practice. So the main question is, how do I practice speaking? This is like a major task. A lot of people ask me that I am alone. How do I practice this? Firstly, take a book, take a question book, or take a question set. You'll find it online also. You'll find it on IELTS tutorials.online. You'll find it on a Telegram group. You'll find it, on our portal as well. So you can go online, take a list of questions, see, can you answer them? Take a cue card topic, record it, and listen to it yourself. That's the best way. The moment you listen to topics yourself, you would come to know whether you can speak on that topic for 2 minutes or no, and it is a really, really good thing. Okay, so I hope this session was really useful to you, and I hope this session was actually quite comprehensive today. And thank you for being here with me, those of you. And I'm going to see you next week, next Saturday again. Till then, please stay home, please stay safe, and let's do this together. Work hard, please work really, really hard. This is the time that you have got to practice. This is the time that you have to give in your best shot. So please make sure you use it. Bye, guys.